Well, you know what it's like. You're walking around in public and then all of a sudden your trousers, or if you're in the US, your pants fall down and you're stood half naked wondering what's happened. And the simple thing is that your trusty EDC, everyday carry, has been too heavy and you just can't cope. That's where this little fella comes in. Now, big fan, recent convert to the Leatherman range. And this is a quick review of the Leatherman PS4 keyring sized multi-tool as against my absolute favourite thing of all time, which I carry when I'm at home and if I'm off camping or something, the Leatherman Surge. I'll do a comparison between the two. Up here, of course, is a 6-inch ruler for you to have a look at. I've just got down here a little Night Eyes S clip, because I find that's much easier to clip this to on and off, very easy when you're clipping it to a keyring rather than trying to get it out the keyring, which is much harder. So there's my bunch of keys. Obviously, Leatherman Surge wouldn't be very good on that, plus the fact that you could be arrested because it's got a very long locking blade. None of that hassle with this little boy here. So I'll put the ruler out the way for a moment and we'll just look at the two devices. Now, they used to have a Squirt P and a Squirt S, and what that meant was you basically chose between whether you wanted pliers or whether you wanted scissors. Now, this gives you both, which is wonderful. It's got tools accessible from the outside, and then only the pliers are accessible from the inside. The pliers do have a wire cutting facility, which I have to admit I've not tested out yet. Whether it's good or not, I don't know. I'm not sure I can get a good focus on that for you. But in terms of their foldability, I tried a few different, I did look at things that weren't made by Leatherman as well. And in terms of foldability, these fold as good as the big brother or the daddy, if you like, that one over there. They fold really, really well. Exactly the same type of mechanism. It just feels robust and hard. You get, of course, a knife, which is a fairly decent, very, very sharp grade knife. Sort of thing you might get on a normal pocket knife, Victorinox or something else like that. You also get a handy triple file construction thing. So you've got very soft, almost like diamond file type stuff there. Slightly harder, more abrasive wood file there, and maybe something you could use on a metal file down there. None of these are locking, by the way. On the other side then, you've got a pretty decent pair of scissors. Now, as I'll show you in a minute, they're nothing compared to the scissors you might get on this boy, which are... which having to remember where they are now, a completely different tool. They're here. Now, you know, that's a good pair of scissors. This is more of a much more lightweight thing, but really it does the job. Cutting a piece of paper, cutting tape, other bits and bobs like that, it really does do the job, so it's not a fuss at all. And they're very easy to get out, and they feel quite robust, and the spring mechanism does feel robust. I've had trouble with my Victorinox based on something which hangs between the two and then slips. Don't think I'm going to get that problem with that. So you've got your cheeky little scissors there. Over here you've got a bottle opener and a flat screwdriver head. I've not used the bottle opener. Flat screwdriver head I have used. In fact, I used it to wedge something open the other day, which is quite useful. And of course the final thing you've got here is a Phillips tool. Now, it doesn't look like a Phillips tool because it only engages, and that's kind of common with the Leatherman range in terms of the screwdrivers, and that is a feature. I've not found it to my detriment yet, but so for example, if you look at the normal tools, that's a bit more robust, of course, but you don't get the whole, it's wider than it is thick, if you like. So you've got quite a lot of width there, then it's quite narrow there, and that seems to follow through in this boy here. It is, I used it yesterday when I was fixing a little string pulley thing for a kite, and it had Phillips head screws, and it was absolutely fine. There is another video which talks about, which I found when preparing for this review, the ability to store a pin in one of the ends there if you want to. Not something I would probably do myself, but there is a little recess in which you can store a pin. The big thing for me is it's just something you can use with your keys. You know, it's the size of a key. It fits on there. They come in 3 different colours, of course. You can get a red one, red outer, a blue outer, and a black outer. And depending on where you look, there are very different prices. I got this from Go Outdoors. Again, you know, morally it's tough, I suppose, because they offer a beat anybody else's price by 10%, and it's very hard to resist. But at the end of the day, they had this, and it was X display, and I had it for £15 in the UK, which is, well, you know, you can't go wrong with that. I'm not sure it's got the 25-year guarantee that these boys have, and that's maybe because it's a slightly, you know, smaller pocket type version. But in terms of your everyday carry, as they say, it's you can look up the stats, but the figures themselves mean nothing. But I can tell you it's very, very light, and it's much lighter than my bunch of keys. It would fit on there, and in fact it has fitted on there. I highly recommend one of these Night Eyes S-rings, which you can lock if you want to, so it opens like that. You can also turn that and lock. It's a little bit, and then you can't open it. I found I haven't needed to do that because it's very unlikely it's going to get open. Just an easy way of getting it off and on your keys. It's quite hard to use otherwise when it's on your keychain because your keys are rattling around, but it's much easier to use when it's not. In terms of the pliers, again, they're not going to be capable of the sort of job that you can do with these, and that is as good as, you know, if I were to go and get my proper standalone hard pliers from my garage, they're no better than this. This is absolutely thick and robust. By the way, have a look at my review on that. So they're not going to do what that does, but you've got the combination of the needle nose and the more grabbing functionality of a plier there if you want to grab a bolt head or something. And the wire cutters, as I mentioned, it is going to be a little bit limiting compared to something like that. You know, it's just not going to be able to handle what that does. But in terms of most of your everyday needs, it really is a fantastic tool, and I would thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly recommend it. Any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it. If I've missed anything, let me know, and I'll try and cover it separately. But there we are, the Leatherman Squirt PS4.